There's growing concern around the rising number of kidnappings in the country. Since March this year, a total of 34 people were reported kidnapped in the Western Cape alone. You'll remember the incident of Anna Penev earlier this month. The 35-year-old Ukrainian woman was kidnapped and reunited with her family a week after she was taken. Another incident that shocked the nation is that of a Chinese woman who was kidnapped at a liquor store in Bellville. Well, there's a national task team that has been set up to tackle kidnappings, but cases are still rising. Our senior reporter Ayesha Ismail is following this story and joins us now with an update from Cape Town. And so, Ayesha, you've been covering a number of these kidnappings for a while now. And what are you gleaning from the conversations you are having about why police are able in some cases to make breakthroughs, but not able in some cases to really, put a stop to these incidents happening in the first place?
So, Tulasizwe, where you will recall that Minister Bheki Cele set up a task team specifically to deal with kidnappings and extortion. We also know that the National Prosecuting Authority has made kidnapping and extortion priority cases. But despite all these efforts, it would appear as if the kidnapping and extortion cases are increasing. So we just heard, and as you said, on Wednesday, another person was kidnapped, and this time it was a Chinese national, and she was kidnapped from her husband's business, a bottle store in Bellville. I've spoken to the South African Police Services here in the Western Cape, and they have confirmed that they are investigating a case of kidnapping, and she has not been found yet, and no arrests have been made in that case. Also, it's interesting to note that in many of these cases, no arrests have been made. And this is obviously because people, once they are released, they don't want to go to court. They don't want to testify in court because they are afraid. And I've been talking to people who have been working with victims who have been kidnapped. I've been talking to kidnapping experts, and they've been telling me that once you are kidnapped and once you are released, you are never free. And so once you are back home with your loved ones, you don't want to have anything to do with your kidnappers. And so sadly, once people have been released, they don't want to pursue a court case. And to us, you can imagine you being kidnapped and you being released, and then you're being reunited with your family, but you've been told by your kidnappers, we're going to let you go, and in many cases, ransoms are paid, but they will say to you, we know where you live, we know a lot about you, we know your history, we know your family, so if you are going to talk about us, we're going to come for you again. And it is for that reason why it's very, very difficult to prosecute these cases. But as I said, I did speak to an expert earlier today, and this is what he had to say.
These people do not just on the day execute an operation. It's well planned, well surveilled. They know exactly what you are going to do and not do.
Are most of these kidnappings perpetrated by transnational syndicates?
I think that's overplayed. I think definitely transnational syndicates do have a role, and also the flow of money. But there's a lot of copycats and local industry where they've opened their own businesses and started their own syndicates running within South Africa. So not all routes will lead to an international syndicate.
So the more we have these cases, Ayesha, the more we can detect trends and patterns and sort of know the mechanics of how these crimes actually happen. What are we hearing about how these kidnapping syndicates choose their targets? Is there a pattern that we are gleaning from that that tells us, who's most likely to be taken?
Turas, that's the question that I posed to Herman Bosman, and he was saying that he's reluctant to talk about trends because he says that anybody can be a target, but it also he says it depends on what you put out there. He talks about social media, how freely we talk about ourselves and our families on social media. He says just Google yourself and see how much information you can find. And again, he says that these syndicates are in most cases more sophisticated than the police. this is what he had to say about how we can protect ourselves.
The social media platform, go and Google yourself, see what is available. When driving, situational awareness. Do you swim with the sharks, or with who do you do business and with who do you associate yourselves? So there's a long list of things I can provide you here, especially also for children. Who do they play games with on the internet at night when they think they're playing with a 15 or 20-year-old? In the meantime, they're playing with somebody much older that's getting information from them and from their family structures. So who do we associate with? With whom do we work every day, and what do we communicate to people? Where do we socialize? We are too trustworthy giving out information and sharing information.
Sure, it's the perfect storm, is it not, Ayesha, in terms of the various facets of how crime is manifesting at this very moment in our country. eNCA senior reporter Ayesha Ismail live for us from our studios in Cape Town. Look out for more of her reporting on that story, giving you insights around the concerns around kidnappings, which are on the increase in the country.